So we are seeing a lot of AI applications being developed across the globe, and mostly big tech is playing a dominant role here. But unfortunately, these AI applications are not working for the local problems because there is not locally available data for them to train solutions. And most of the big tech, they are not focusing on these local problems because this is probably not their business interest at the moment. And this is causing a major issue where there is a lot of demand for local solutions, but there's not enough locally available open data. All local innovators are struggling to harness these data sets to build these solutions, which they have the infrastructure, they have the open source AI models, but they're not able to leverage them in absence of locally available open data. So my suggestion would be, if we make a much more stronger commitment towards open data, we would be able to create a level playing field where local entrepreneurs can come forward, can harness this data set and solve for local problems, rather than just relying on big tech players to.
So my answer to that question is yes and no. I think Europe has many of the tools that it needs to build a more open AI ecosystem, as you say. We have the Digital Markets Act now, we have the AI Act, we have competition policy, we have other important tools like industrial policy, all of which could help us rein in the power of the big tech companies and create an AI ecosystem that's open to European startups, universities, governments, and so on. But at the same time, we have to recognize the fact that these companies, who are extremely powerful, are based in the US. And so if we do have support from the US administration in this task, then I think we'll be more effective. And so I think the good news there is Europe is not alone in this, especially under the Biden administration. There's a real recognition of the harm that the dominance of the big tech companies creates, and you're seeing a lot of efforts there now to rein them in as well in the US, particularly through some really major antitrust cases. And so I think working together in harmony over the next few years to achieve that mission will maximize our chances of success.
Yes, because we really have a mixed result, I would say, in the end. We managed a lot. We produced a future-proof, to a certain extent, law with a lot of possibilities to further adjust it towards new challenges in the field of AI. We are including a lot of stakeholders, companies, academics, civil society can bring in their input, and based on the input we are specifying the AI Act with secondary legislation. It's more principle-based than a lot of other laws. But unfortunately, the downside is that the AI Act is also very, very vague in language. The evidence for certain paragraphs or provisions is not really there, so we are regulating in an unclear future, not really knowing if those threats are really there. And I think there's also a very difficult governance enforcement situation with a lot of overlaps, a lot of competition that is upcoming between all those different actors that are now there to enforce the AI Act. Again, there are pros, there are cons, but I guess especially in the next months and 2-3 years, there will be a lot of legal uncertainty, which is of course not helpful for the AI community in Europe.
So I think we have to decide to focus here. The first is that we see the regulation and also the certification. The regulation is currently quite complex. If you take a look at the specification that all the 27 European countries had accept, you have a lot of documentation to do. On the certification level, it's a huge chance for anyone who has deep knowledge what AI stands for with the European law. And the AI Act gives for companies like us the opportunity to act as a certification instead for all the industrial customers who would love to use the technology in their pipeline. So we see this as a chance. But we, as I said, we decide from 2 points, regulation and certification. For the certification, it's a great chance for companies like us, and for the documentation, it needs a little bit more update and fine-tuning.